Greetings, Earthlings. How's everyone doing today? How's your summer going? Are the kids back in school? So are you throwing a party without the kids being around or what? it's it's again, we're in Texas. It's still hot here. Today is August 10th and still no rain. There were some sprinkles, but not enough for them to put in the record books. But we'll take what we can. I hope everyone else is doing well. And today is an interesting and fun, and let's see if you can relate to any of these pet peeves. I thought it's interesting because we all have certain things that just bug us. I know I do. So I asked several of my friends, family, some of the names have been changed to protect the innocent, what and if they had pet peeves? And someone said, well, I don't have any pet peeves. And I wanted to say, well, that's my pet peeve that you don't have a pet peeve. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't say that, but I did think it. But anyway, pet peeves. Where did it come from? The term pet peeve was introduced to a wide readership in the single panel comic strip, The Little Pet Peeve, in the Chicago Tribune during the period of 1916 through 1920. The strip was created by cartoonist Frank King, who also created the long-running Gasoline Alley strips that many people my age and older probably remember. But anyway, that's what pet peeves are. So something that a particular person finds especially annoying. And when someone says, I don't have a pet peeve, I guess in their mind they don't, but I bet I could find one if I stuck around long enough. So we're going to start off with Dee Dee. Dee Dee's pet peeve is people who litter, especially when in a car, out the window, in the car. I can't. I myself cannot. So apparently you're going to find out, because I apparently have a lot of pet peeves, and I'm along with Dee Dee on this. I hate when people litter. Just put it in a certain spot in your car. Get a bag. You can buy bags for your car. Put your trash in there. And when you get home, or if it gets full, then you empty it out like you empty out your trash once a week. No, I'm all about the let's recycle. So littering is a really big pet peeve of mine. Another one Dee Dee has is talking during a movie at the theater or kicking the back of your chair. How many of you had that? Where the movie's about to start and you hear, oh yeah, annoying. There's a scene in You've Got Mail with Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, and it's it's Meg Ryan's boyfriend, and the actor is Greg Kinnear. He was also in Sabrina, but anyway, so they're in the movie theater, and back they don't do this anymore. They used to have like the concession stands and the popcorn's dancing and a hot dog. Let's go to the movies. Let's all go to the movies. So this lady he's talking to Meg Ryan in this scene. And this lady behind him says, shh, could you please be quiet? And he turns around and he looks at the screen. He said, it's a singing hot dog. So I always think that's funny, but it's true. Just once, people go to the movies to find some peace, just block out what's going on in the world and do something. So that's one of my pet peeves too. Dee Dee and I are way too much alike in some things. Another one is when someone doesn't acknowledge that you have texted them. So you text them and then they don't realize, especially, I don't know if it's that on the Android, but on the iPhone, you can put something that when it's read, it says read. And obviously, they've read your text and they don't reply. Well, then later on you talk to them. Well, I texted you. Oh, I didn't see it. Yeah, you did, because I saw the word read, R-E-A-D. So be careful. Find that setting if you don't want to get busted on that. And one more thing, totally agree with her on this one. People who act entitled. How many people have you met in your adult life, and even maybe in college and high school, that they felt and acted as they were entitled to anything and everything? Well, if you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. People sometimes just feel like they, something happened and they are entitled now. I don't know. But anyway, we know what that is. So, next pet peeve is from alias MR. Licking of the fingers while eating. And I mean, I didn't realize that I did this. Like if I have something salty, I'm not making massive noise, but I didn't realize I did this till after I read this one. I'm like, oh. And then MR says, licking fingers while eating or in general smacking while they're eating. Now, I don't smack, but I have been around people. Have you ever been around someone who just like, that just annoyed me hearing myself do that. So I totally agree with her on that because it is something that has bugged me. Or people who chew with their mouth open. Oh, I do not want to see your food processor in your mouth. Thank you. Anyway, definitely I caught myself after I read this, like if I have popcorn and you know how the little salt gets on I don't do buttered popcorn, but salt gets on there. I caught myself licking. So now she has breaking me of this habit of licking my fingers when I eat something that leaves some sort of spice or some sort of residue. I am not licking my fingers anymore, especially around MR because I know she doesn't like this. Another pet peeve of hers is people who cough and sneeze in their hands. Now, before COVID, that's what we were taught to do. We were supposed to cough. You cough in your hand. Well, then later on, they're saying cough inside of your elbow. And though I agree with her on all of this, because some people do still cough in their hands. And then when you offer their hand sanitizer, and they go, "Oh, no, thanks. We're sharing the same pizza. No, you need hand sanitizer." So I totally agree with this also. Again, you're going to know all my pet peeves when you meet me. You'll be scared to say anything or do anything. Another of MR's pet peeve is not returning shopping carts to the cart corral. I totally get it. I mean, have you ever gone, oh, perfect parking spot, third space from going into the door of a store, and you turn and there's a shopping cart right smack dab in the middle of that parking spot because someone was too lazy. I said it, too lazy to take it to the little cart corral. Come on, people. It's only a few steps. Plus, you could get some extra steps on your daily routine. So I agree with her on that also. Also, at school, I don't know, obviously she's an educator. At school, when kids are constantly moving their desk and making that loud noise. What loud noise? That loud noise of dragging the desk or dragging the chair, because no classrooms, at least here in Texas, have carpet on them. So I can understand totally what she's talking about. So our next pet peeve is from Christine. And Christine says her pet peeve is leaving drawers and cabinets open after getting things out, such as clothes, and then just letting the clothes hang out of them, and food, and getting food or dishes out, etc., and just leaving the cabinet drawers open. Doors open, excuse me. I understand what she's talking about. Do you remember that scene in Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis? And the little boy was, his name was Haley Joel Osment. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Anyway, cute kid. And he sees dead people. And then he walks into the kitchen and all the cabinets are open. You would have seen my friend Kristen going and slamming all of them, not saying, "Well, I don't care what you see." She probably would have slammed all of them. And I probably would too. But I am notorious Not for leaving clothes hanging out of doors. That just, oh, I don't do that. I can't do that. But sometimes I will leave a cabinet open and I don't know why. I just forget to close it. So, and no, I don't see dead people, but sometimes I just leave it open. I don't know. I'm getting better at it. It's taken me 64 years, but I'm getting better at it. But anyway, so I agree with her on that. Now, these are some of my pet peeves, and my pet peeves are liars. It's a pet peeve of mine. I hate to be lied to. And then once the person almost pulls off the lie and I find out that I've been lied to, oh, geez, not a good thing. Just don't lie, people. I know we're all liars. I have a podcast on being honest and lying, and we all do tell lies. But you know what I mean. That's not like I'm wearing a fedora and I look like Bozo the Clown in it, and then you tell me I look gorgeous, and I go home and think, oh my God, look what I look like. No, and I all know you were being nice. That's a nice lie. But when you lie to me about something personal, about someone, oh, that's not good. I don't like to be lied to. And people, okay, my next one is people that don't say excuse me when they bump into you. They just keep going. I'm sorry, but I was raised to have good manners. And if you bump into someone, you say excuse me. And then if you bump into someone and you say excuse me and they don't even acknowledge you. Rude. So when you say excuse me because they're blocking. How about if they're blocking what you need off of the store shelf with their cart, and then they are on their phone, of course, on speaker, and they don't even look your way, and you say, excuse me, and they just kind of move their cart and give you a look like I'm bothering them, because you should be having a personal phone call on speaker at the grocery store. I don't think so. So you all know who you are. So how about when in a store? I'm a pretty neat person. I like things in their place. So in a store, when someone knocks something off a shelf or a rack and leaves it on the floor. Yes, I'm that person that picks it up and puts it back on the shelf or the rack. I like, you just knocked it down, pick it up. It's that easy. That's it. Just pick it up. So my other thing, apparently, and I don't even like to shop in the store, so apparently I do have a lot of pet peeves. Maybe this is why I don't shop in the store. I do a lot of online shopping. In a store, when people change their mind about an item and don't put it back in the right place. I have seen meat left on a store shelf. Now, come on, people. Take it back to the fridge section where you got it. Get your steps. Again, get your extra steps for the day. It'll make you feel good. It's good for your heart. Don't be lazy. I don't like lazy people. But anyway, there's that. Those are my pet peeves for now. Anyway, so here's another one. And anonymously, LR says she hates dishes being left in the sink when the dishwasher is empty. I do too. I hate dishes in the sink. I hate dishes in the sink. It takes a minute to rinse out a cup. And as they say, you can save so much more water by putting your dirty dishes in the dishwasher. So just, if you need to rinse it out because you're not going to run the dishwasher and you've got eggs on it, wash it off a little bit. Hopefully you've got a really good dishwasher and you don't have to do that. So do not come to my house and put dirty dishes in my sink and walk off. I will not be a happy camper. Now, this is JL, and her pet peeve is leaving empty toilet paper rolls when a new one is right next to the toilet. So, when you go into the restroom and there's actually a toilet paper roll, and it literally has one sheet that I'm not sure what you could wipe with that. You can't even blow your nose with one sheet, and they just leave it. And there's a brand new, like shiny, beautiful roll of full toilet paper, and someone can't switch it out. Now, I don't understand the concept of not being able to switch that out. Now, our next one, her initials are ABC. And she says, billboards that are advertising events that are already or that have already occurred weeks ago. So billboards that are advertising events that have already occurred. You're driving down the street, there's somebody, one of your favorite artists is going to be in town, and you're like, oh my gosh, we got to get tickets, and you're driving, and then the passenger says, oh, that happened 2 weeks ago. Oh, so I totally get that too. That's that disappointment. Like, oh. So this next one is from Eminem, and she says, incessant and mindless tapping of pens and pencils. The I totally get that one. Sometimes I remember just doing it myself. Don't really do it now, but I can get it, especially when you're having a deep conversation and they're tap, 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 tap. So I get it. Another one of Eminem's is the coworker that pops her gum all the time. And even when someone mentions it to the popping person, they continue to pop. You've heard it. I can't do it, but you know which one I'm talking about. I used to be able to do that, but I had to work on it just to make sure I could do it. But I did it for fun, but not anymore, especially not in front of Eminem there. Anyway, the next one is from JK. And he says people who walk past a grocery cart right by the door, parking spot, and go into the store and get one from within, which that totally does make sense. So if you're walking inside the store and you pass one, why not take it in instead of, especially if it's blocking a parking spot? So that does make sense, and I could see that. I just get it. And it's like they're not any cleaner than the ones that are in the store. They've been handled just the same amount. And the next one is JK says he hates people that interrupt a conversation to a different direction, which usually is to their benefit. And I have to admit, I'm kind of notorious about interrupting, not for my benefit, but I'll think, oh yeah, you know what? That reminds me of something. Yes, so I do have to admit I am guilty of interrupting. I try not to. I really do, especially with my husband when he's telling me a story and I'm like, oh, just remind me to tell you this and I won't forget. And then when he tells me, well, what were you going to say? I usually forget, so that didn't make any sense. Anyway, so the next one is from Goya. When someone only tells you negative things after you have shared a positive thing. Now, how many of you had that situation before? Oh my gosh, I just won $1 million. I'm so excited. And the person says, oh, do you know the taxes you're going to have to pay? Okay, yes, there's that person. And the next one is people who don't wash their hands after using the restroom. Yuck, that's gross. You would think that it wouldn't have taken the pandemic for people to be aware of always washing their hands. Now, many are back to not washing their hands, which I can get that too, because you're like, well, are you watching these people? No, usually you hear them in a stall next to you and you're the only person in the restroom, the public restroom, and then you just hear them walk out. Ugh. Yes, wash your hands, people. The next one is from NP. People licking their fingers while eating. That's the same one like MR earlier. Yes, that licking of the fingers. I'm working on it, people. Anyway, her next one is people who steal. Yeah, I'm not into thieves. I just don't steal, people. If you can't afford it, wait until you can. So, these I just don't. It was one thing back in, well, anytime, steal a piece of candy, but people are stealing big things now, even kids. Not that they're stealing kids. Well, maybe they are stealing kids. But anyway, stealing anything. So, yeah, that's a good one. And also, people who click the end of their pen. I try not to do that. I've got arthritis. That just hurts. People who tap or drum on things. Yeah, I can see that too because I sometimes do that. And people, oh, this is a good one. This is a really good one. So you open your house up to have friends and family over, and people that don't help you clean up after parties. NP, that's a good one because a lot of times people just like bye, and they leave their bowl that they brought with their stuff because they know you're going to clean it and get it back to them, hopefully. So totally understand that one too. Now this one's definitely anonymous. And the anonymous thing is when people don't attempt to learn new things and let others do it for them. Example, using a cell phone and learning how to use an app. Now, we all know that's pretty easy. You download the app, and then usually there's rules, and you push a button. You're tapping a phone. You're tapping a screen. So some people would rather someone else do something for them than them learn how to use it. So the example they used is using a cell phone and learning how to use the app, and they just do it and say, I can't, and say, just do it for me. I'm not good at technology. How many of you know someone like that? I do. So my answer to that is get rid of your cell phone, get a landline back in your house, and get a rotary phone. If you get a phone with buttons, it may confuse you because if you can't push a screen, then you're not going to be able to work a regular phone with buttons. So get a rotary phone. But anyway, that's funny. But I try to learn. I mean, yes, there's always so much to learn when it comes to technology, even with cell phones. Their next one is people who say, I would never do that, or I would never buy that. And perhaps in their past, they have already done that and no longer feel the need to do it again, or whatever it is. Or the person who says, I will never buy an Apple Watch, that's just not for me, trying to make the other person who has one feel awkward, and the person feels like they need to justify why they have an Apple Watch. People, there's no need to explain why you have things. And so some folks, in my opinion, this is my opinion, I think that some folks are just envious. But they continue and say, and 2 months later, you see the person who said they never would buy an Apple Watch is wearing one. I'm rolling my eyes right now because I know of someone that has done that. And as I always say, never say never. And toilet seats. Anonymous says they hate toilet seats being left up. So I think you all know who she is talking about. So here's one from Shonda. Shonda says, there's a term using the quote, love all the things. And the example is, went to the store and loved all their dresses and shirts and just loved all the things. Or we just had so much fun at our wedding and we just loved all the things. Yeah, I could see that be a pet peeve if you're having to hear that. And when you're talking to someone, this is the second one Shonda says, when you're talking to someone and they are just looking at their phone and look up and say, I'm listening. Okay, that's just rude, people. I know all of our parents raised us better. Do not be rude. Put the stinking phone down. And here is our last one, and it is from Rose. When people say they are going to be at a certain place and they don't show up. Oh, yeah. I'd probably be a little PO'd by that one. How many times has that happened? And you're waiting and you call and they're like, oh, I thought I texted you and said I wasn't going to come. Okay. And then the other one that Rose shared with us is being late. Well, I do hate that too. I hate being late anywhere. I hate it. I hate being rushed. I hate being late. So I have to agree with her. Late and being late to meet someone, and the person who is waiting on you at the meeting place at the time that the person who is running late set the time and the place to be there. So I totally get that. So I am waiting on you because you told me to be here at 4 p.m. and it is 4:30 and you're still not here. And yeah, I am totally in agreement with that because first of all, I hate being late. And I know some people, that's just their nature. I'm sorry, leave 10 minutes earlier. Prepare, people. Anyway, I think those are kind of fun to share. And if you have any pet peeves, and we can do as many pet peeves and it's interesting to hear these because then you can relate to so many of them and say, oh, I didn't realize that was one of my pet peeves too. Oh, there's another one. Anyway, so if you do have any pet peeves that you'd like to share, we can do another pet peeve podcast. And this is Ticket to Life. And I'm so glad that you're listening and you shared these comments with me because I really appreciate it. It gave me a fun kind of show because I know some of my podcasts are kind of deep and this is kind of a fun thing to listen to and talk about. So if you do have anything, you can always send me an email at tickettolive022@gmail.com. And this is Henrie. Go find your blessings and go find some pet peeves and fix them or get away from them or do something. Have a wonderful, wonderful next 24 hours.